I want to bring attention to what I consider a rather malicious energy harvesting technique, and also something that you need to be very careful of, as it's also spiritually extremely dangerous. Before I get into this does not mean or imply that everyone who implements this thing has malicious or evil intent. Often they will do it and announce beforehand that it will take place. But there are others who stand on a stage and they do this and no warning is given to the audience. And these are the ones who are, if they're not malicious, they're putting the people in the audience at great danger. There's lots of ways to harvest energy off an audience. You can put on a fantastic performance and it'll come flying towards you out of genuine mutual love and appreciation and gratitude. And then there's other ways. You can shock an audience and harvest energy off them too. These kind of shock shows that goes on, freak shows and things like that. It's harvesting a response off you in an energetic form. This particular example I'm going to talk about, I'm sure many of you have experienced it, and I find it extremely obnoxious, intrusive and malicious. I've actually sat down in crowds where 200 or 300 people around me stood up because I refuse to be a marionette for my energy to be drained by somebody else. Now you may have went to a workshop, a conference, or some other talk where you had a kind of approach talking about love and how we can live better and all this kind of thing, and sometimes it might not even be about that. It might just be about something to do with quantum physics, not from a scientist, but from a new age type person. The kind of types that have that catatonic Stepford smile on their face all the time. Exactly the same smile that like church happy types in the US Bible Belt have. Not real happiness, it's pretend happiness. But you're listening to maybe a lecture, and towards the end, the person giving the lecture might turn around and say something like, I want everybody in the audience to now look at the person beside them and stare deep into their eyes for about a minute. Do you know how dangerous that is? You have no idea what kind of person you are going to be staring into their eyes. Now that's not to suggest that they're all psychopaths or they're all monsters or they're all rapists or anything like that, but you could be dealing with some deep-rooted trauma that could be triggered by staring into this other person's eyes. You could also be giving off signals to this other person's eyes who may fancy you or something like that, and they think that they're actually going to get a relationship or something or get together with you. It's so dangerous on so many levels because it's an invasion of privacy. The eyes are the window to the soul for the simple reason that the blood vessels, our blood in general, gets the closest to the outside of the body in the pupils. The blood vessels in the eyes are at the surface, and this is why the magical technique of fascination comes from, of staring into someone's eyes. You're actually affecting the blood in the blood vessels. It goes to their heart. Now if you're not ready for this and you're not expecting this, this could be an extremely traumatic thing. It's beyond embarrassment, it's beyond feeling uncomfortable. You're feeling uncomfortable for a reason, because you're being raped at the soul level. And 99 times out of 100, accidentally by the other person staring into their eyes, and you're raping them. And this is because the fucker on the stage is trying to harvest the energy off you, and also trying to appear as some type who wants to bring love to the world and we are all one and all this crap. Don't do it. I've never done that, and I've always looked away, and I've always said to the person beside me, no offense, but I'm uncomfortable with this. It's not you, it's me. Another thing they do is, why does everybody stand on their feet and start dancing? Let the energy flow through you. And they'll play a piece of music and everyone has to dance. And this is all bollocks as well, because many people are not comfortable with doing that, because that's a kind of a private or a thing that they do of their own free will. To be forced to do it out of peer pressure is exactly the same thing that happens in the army when they tell you to march and things like that. And the one on the stage dancing going, let the energy flow through you, it's so beautiful, be free, be dancing, are raping you. They're raping you of your dignity, because they're turning you into a marionette for the purpose of energy harvesting. It's Colonel Sanders on the stage and you're a fried chicken. Don't let them do that to you. I've actually sat down during this and people looking at me like I'm a miserable bastard. I'm not a miserable bastard. No one forces me to dance. No one forces me to do anything. I am not standing in an audience waiting for a prompt to be turned into a performing seal. And this is what happens with these types. Now there's others who do this, and they may say, or they have a name for doing it, and they may say part of the workshop or the event is that I will ask you to do certain things like dance or put your hand on the other person's heart. If they have any ethical integrity, they will make sure that they tell the audience this before they do it. Or they make it announced in, this is what we do in our show. We make you do interactive things where you stare into people's eyes or your hands on their hearts. I won't ever do that. It's not fair to me and it's not fair to the person I'm doing it to. These are part of the energy harvesting techniques. Only your privacy and your feelings and things as powerful as the connection between your eyes and your soul should only be shared with people you know and trust, not with a stranger. Spiritually, it could be extremely dangerous. So remember that that's a subtle form of malicious energy harvesting. Don't let anyone at a conference or a workshop make you dance, stare into another person's eyes, hold a hand on the heart of another person, unless it's been announced beforehand. And especially if the conference or talk has nothing to do with this. Promotion of it being, say, about quantum physics, and all of a sudden you're told to look in the person's eyes next to you and express pure love, you walk away. You don't do that. Or you say to the person next, no, it's not you, no offense, I just don't want to do it. And be very wary of these people. Not all of them are malicious, many of them are just dumb hippies, but some are very malicious, and I've experienced it firsthand. Energy harvesting vampires.